Bonjour, French 1 students. Here is your teaching video for Lesson 10, A, B, et C. S'il vous plaît, ouvrez vos livres à la page 150. Lesson 10, Vive la différence. We are not necessarily like our friends. Leah describes herself and her best friend Celine. Both of them live in Paris and are quite different. Leah. Je m'appelle Leah. Je suis française. J'ai des frères, mais je n'ai pas de sœurs. J'ai un chien. J'ai un scooter. J'aime la musique classique. J'aime le basket et le tennis. Céline. Elle s'appelle Céline. Elle est asienne. Elle n'a pas de frères, mais elle a deux sœurs. Elle n'a pas de chien, mais elle a un chat très mignon. Elle a un vélo. Elle préfère le compas. Elle préfère le foot. Céline et moi, nous sommes très différentes, mais nous sommes copines. C'est l'essentiel, non? So working through the translation of this, right? So we have, my name is Leah. I am French. I have brothers, but I don't have any sisters. I have a dog. I have a scooter. I like classical music. I like basketball and tennis. Her name is Celine. She is Haitian, or from the country of Haiti. She does not have any brothers, but she has two sisters. She does not have a dog, but she has a cat that is very cute. So a very cute cat. She has a bike. She prefers compas, which is a type of music, and she prefers soccer. Celine and I, we are very different, but we are friends. That's important, isn't it? So what Leah is suggesting is that it's important to not be exactly the same as your friends, to be somewhat different. Look at the comprehension questions. Answer the questions below with the appropriate names. Leah, Celine, or Leah et Celine. Numéro 1. Qui habite en France? Leah et Celine habitent en France. 2. Qui a deux sœurs? Celine a deux sœurs. 3. Qui n'a pas de frères? Celine n'a pas de frères. 4. Qui a un vélo? Celine a un vélo. 5. Qui aime la musique classique? Leah aime la musique classique. 6. Qui aime les sports? Leah et Celine aiment les sports. Look at the note culturelle about Haiti, which the capital is Port-au-Prince. En bref, Haiti, capitale Port-au-Prince, population 8 millions d'habitants, langue, créole, and français. So we're talking about the country of Haiti, and the first map here, this is kind of telling you that Haiti is an island country in the Caribbean. Okay? The capital of Haiti is Port-au-Prince. It has 8 million people, and the official languages are Creole and French. Haiti occupies the western part of the Haiti occupies the western part of the large Caribbean island on which the Dominican Republic is also located. Its inhabitants are of African origin. Their enslaved ancestors revolted against their French masters in 1805 and established the first independent black nation in modern history. Today, many Haitians have emigrated to France, Canada, and especially to the United States. There are sizable Haitian communities in Florida and in cities along the northeastern seaboard. So that means along the coast of the Atlantic Ocean. Haitians are friendly, industrious, and artistic people. In the 20th century, Haitian painters developed their own widely appreciated folk art style, and Haitian paintings are now in collections around the world. The Haitians also love music, especially compa or compa, which highlights a variety of instruments including conga drums, guitar, and keyboard. Its Creole lyrics are expressed against a background of African, Caribbean, reggae, and rock rhythms. Haitian Creole cuisine, which features rice dishes, pork, and shellfish, is often quite spicy. Typical Haitian dishes include griot, which is a fried pork, riz jonjon, rice with mushrooms, and pain patate, a sweet potato cake. So you may have heard the term Creole before because Creole cuisine and Creole people are also quite common in Louisiana. So in this lesson, we have an irregular verb to learn, which is avoir. And remember, when it's an irregular verb, that means that it's one that you should memorize. And again, I know that right now all of your quizzes and tests are open book and open note. But do remember that when you take French 2 next year, hopefully we're back to a normal school year, and tests and quizzes will not be open book and open note, meaning you will have to know verbs and vocabulary from French 1. So avoir means to have. Remember, this is called a conjugation chart. These are the singular subject pronouns. These are the plural subject pronouns. Remember, this is the first person subject pronouns. These are the second person from across here. Okay, so like this way. And these are the third person subject pronouns. So the forms of avoir are j'ai. So I'm going to erase that E and make it an apostrophe A-I because it starts with a vowel. Tu as, il, elle, a, nous avons, vous avez, and il and elle pluriel ont. So, s'il vous plaît, répétez avoir, avoir, j'ai, tu as, il a, elle a, nous avons, vous avez, ils ont, elles ont. So again, this is this new irregular verb that you need to memorize, which is avoir, which means to have. There are also some expressions in French that use avoir that we would not use avoir for in English. We wouldn't say to have. So avoir faim means to have hunger. We would say to be hungry. But they don't use the verb to be. Remember, the verb to be is être, is the verb to be. And again, they don't use the verb to be. Avoir soif means to have thirst. So again, this is how you say to be thirsty. And then avoir number un is you have some number of years. So this is how you talk about how old you are, okay, your age. So if you want to say that we are hungry, it would be nous avons faim. If I want to say they, and I'm talking about some girls, that they are thirsty, it'd be elles ont soif. again, you've seen actually all three of these avoir expressions previously, right? You asked tu as femme, and you would say j'ai femme. Okay, your book had introduced you to this, but they hadn't really given you all the forms. And if I want to say that he is 10 years old, it'd be il a 10 ans. Okay, so again, we use this verb avoir for these expressions: to be hungry, to be thirsty, and for age. S'il vous plaît, répétez avoir femme, avoir femme, avoir soif, avoir soif, avoir un, avoir un. Also in this lesson is really some stuff that is a review that we've talked about previously, but now your book is specifically teaching it. And it's talking about nouns, and remember that all French nouns are either masculine or feminine. Now, again, the first nouns that you saw and that we already saw in lesson 9, okay, were nouns relating to people. And they start with those nouns because those are a little bit more straightforward, because if it's a noun that refers to a male person, the noun is masculine. If it's a noun that refers to a female person, then the noun is feminine. But all nouns in French are masculine or feminine. Remember when we learned about food items and drink items, right? It was un café. The word café was masculine. It was une salade. The word for salad was feminine. Okay, so again, this is one of the areas where French is very different from English. Now, French is not really different from other languages based on Latin. So in Spanish, nouns are masculine and feminine. In Portuguese, nouns are masculine and feminine. In Italian, nouns are masculine and feminine. And even in German, nouns are masculine and feminine. So this is not something that's unique to French. It's actually more English that's a little bit different in this, in that our nouns are not masculine and feminine. So again, previously you've learned the indefinite articles, which mean a, an, or some when it's plural. And remember, the masculine singular indefinite article is un, the feminine one is une, and the plural ones are nous, they are des. You've also previously learned the definite articles that mean the. The masculine singular definite article is le, the feminine one is la, and the plural are les. And remember, this le and this la both become L apostrophe before a vowel or a silent H. And because all nouns are either masculine or feminine, we have to keep in mind that our subject pronoun elle can mean she, but it also can mean it for a feminine object. So like if I was talking about une salade and I didn't want to keep saying the word une salade, I would start my sentence with elle because salade is feminine. Il then also can mean either he or it. So you have to be a little bit careful when you're translating il and elle. You have to kind of look at what you're talking about. If you're talking about people, il and elle are going to mean he and she. But if you're talking about objects that are not people, then they're going to mean it. So again, this is review. We've talked about this previously in French 1A, but now your textbook is actually teaching it to you grammatically. So let's take a look at this the way it is in your book. À la page 152, le verbe avoir. The verb avoir, to have or to own, is irregular. Note the forms of this verb in the present tense. So I would like you to repeat after me. I'm going to do this in this order. So I'm going to kind of go down and do these, and then I'm going to go down with the sentences. So you're going to end up repeating both. So s'il vous plaît, répétez avoir, j'ai, tu as, il a, elle a, nous avons, vous avez, ils ont, elles ont. All right, one thing about this, your book shows these, but when you write them, you would not write those. Those are there to help you remember that when you say these, you hear the S's of nous and vous and il or el pluriel as a Z sound. So you don't write those, they're there for pronunciation reasons. All right, si vous pouvez répéter, j'ai une copine à Québec. Est-ce que tu as un frère? Philippe a une cousine à Paris. Nous avons un ordinateur. Est-ce que vous avez une moto? Il note pas ton appareil photo. Working through the translation of those, okay, so what those mean. So this top one, j'ai une copine à Québec, means I have a female friend in Quebec. Do you have a brother? Philip has a female cousin in Paris. We have a computer. Do you have a motorcycle? They don't have your camera. There is liaison in the forms nous, vous, and il and elle, so you hear those S's as Z's. S'il vous plaît, répétez nous avons, vous avez, ils ont, elles ont. So then your book has these expressions avec avoir. Again, these are those expressions that use avoir that we talked about, the fact that in English they don't. We use the verb to be in English, but in French they use the verb avoir, to have. S'il vous plaît, again, we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to do these and ask you to repeat, and then we'll do the sentences with you repeating. S'il vous plaît, répétez avoir femme, avoir femme, avoir soif, avoir soif, avoir âne, avoir âne. J'ai femme. Et toi, est-ce que tu as femme? Paul a soif. Sylvie n'a pas soif. J'ai 14 ans. Le prof a 35 ans. Working through the translation of those, I am hungry. And you, are you hungry? Paul is thirsty. Sylvie is not thirsty. I'm 14 years old. The teacher is 35 years old. So we're going to do exercice 1. Qu'est-ce qu'ils ont? What do they have? From what the people are doing, say which object in the box they have. So you're going to choose an object from this box. So we have Leah regarde un film. Leah is watching a movie. So of the choices here, to watch a movie, she would have to have a television. So elle a une télé. So again, we're using our forms of avoir. So a, tu as, il a, elle a, nous avons, vous avez, okay, ils ont, and elles ont. So you're going to use the same subject in your sentence that you say as the subject in the sentence in the book. And then you're going to use the correct form of avoir and then one of these choices from this box. So numéro un, we have tu joues au tennis. So you're playing tennis. Tu as une raquette. Deux, Eric écoute du rock. Eric listens to some rock. Il a un baladeur. Toi, je regarde un film. I'm watching a movie. J'ai une télé. 4. Vous téléphonez. You're making a phone call. Vous avez un portable. 5. Nous écoutons un CD. We are listening to a CD. Nous avons un baladeur. 6. Vous envoyez un mail. You are sending an email. Vous avez un ordinateur. 7. Elles jouent au tennis. They are playing tennis. Elles ont une raquette. 8. Ils surfent sur le net. They are surfing the internet. Ils ont un ordinateur. So, à la page 153, B, les noms et les articles masculins et féminins. Nouns. Nouns designating people. Nouns that designate male persons are almost always masculine. Un garçon, un ami. Remember, un garçon means a boy, and un ami means a friend, specifically a male friend. Nouns that designate female persons are almost always feminine. Une fille, une amie. Une fille means a girl. Une amie means a female friend. Exceptions. Une personne is always feminine, even when it refers to a male. And un professeur is always masculine, even when it refers to a woman. So remember, une personne is the generic word for a person, and it's always une personne, whether that person you're talking about is male or female. And remember, un professeur is the generic word for teacher, and again, the generic word for teacher is always masculine, whether you're talking about a male or female teacher. The little reminder about learning about language. Nouns are words that designate people, animals, objects, and things. In French, all nouns have gender. They are either masculine or feminine. Nouns designating animals, objects, and things. There is no systematic way to determine whether these nouns are masculine or feminine. Therefore, it is very important to learn these nouns with their articles. So remember, that's why on vocab quizzes, if I ask for cell phone, you have to write un portable, not just portable. I'll mark it wrong. So, s'il vous plaît, répétez un portable, un vélo, un ordinateur, une chaîne hi-fi, une moto, une affiche. So, articles. Note the forms of the articles in the chart below. We'll look at that learning about language box here. Nouns are often introduced by articles. In French, articles have the same gender as the nouns they introduce. So we have the indefinite article un and une. So we have un garçon, une fille, and the indefinite articles mean a or an. We have the definite article, le and la, le garçon, la fille. S'il vous plaît, répétez un, une, un garçon, une fille. Le, la, le garçon, la fille. And then both le and la become L apostrophe before a vowel sound. So again, that's any word that starts with a vowel or starts with a silent H. Most H's in French are silent. So we have le garçon, l'ami, la fille, l'ami. S'il vous plaît, répétez le garçon, l'ami, la fille, l'ami. Pronouns. Note the forms of the pronouns in the chart below. Again, the learning about language. Nouns may be replaced by pronouns. In French, pronouns have the same gender as the nouns they replace. What that means is if I'm replacing une raquette, I have to use elle to replace it. If I'm replacing un vélo, I have to use il to replace it because un vélo is masculine. So, s'il vous plaît, répétez il, où est le garçon? Il est en classe. Où est le portable? Il est sur la table. Elle, où est la fille? Elle est en ville. Où est la voiture? Elle est là-bas. Working through that translation, where is the boy? He is in class. Where is the cell phone? It is on the table. Where is the girl? She is in town. Where is the car? It is over there. So let's take a look at exercise 5, sur la table ou sous la table. So, okay, on the table or under the table. Caroline is looking for the following objects. Celine tells her where each one is, on or under the table. So, I'm going to ask you the question, and what I'd like you to say is just this part of the answer. You don't have to say, like, replace the object. So we have où est le baladeur. Now, because this is le, right, I have to use il to start my sentence. If it had been la, I would use elle to start my sentence. Okay? The A stays the same every time. It's sur la table if the object's on the table. Okay? And you're going to use sous la table if the object is under the table. So, number 1. Où est l'ordinateur? Il est sur la table. 2. Où est le sac? Il est sur la table. 3. Où est l'affiche? Elle est sur la table. Numéro 4. Où est la calculatrice? Elle est sous la table. Numéro 5. Où est la raquette? Elle est sous la table. Numéro 6. Où est l'appareil photo? Il est sous la table. 7. Où est la radiocassette? Elle est sous la table. Numéro 8. Où est la télé? Elle est sous la table. C. Les noms et les articles, le pluriel. So about nouns and articles and the plural forms. Note the singular and plural forms of the articles and nouns in the sentences below. So, s'il vous plaît, répétez. Tu as le livre. Tu as les livres. Qui est la fille là-bas? Qui sont les filles là-bas? Voici un sac. Voici des sacs. J'invite une copine. J'invite des copines. Plural nouns. In written French, the plural of most nouns is formed as follows. We take the singular noun and we add an S. So again, kind of notice here, right? We've added an S. Oops, sorry. We've added an S to livre in addition to changing the article. We change the article and we add an S to fille. We change the article and we add an S to sac. We change the article and we add an S. So again, to make things plural, we have to change the article to the plural form of the article and we add an S to our noun itself. If the noun ends in S, the singular and plural forms are the same. Voici un français. Voici des français. So because this noun already ends in an S, we don't add an extra S to make it plural. We just change the article. In spoken French, the final S of the plural is always silent, so you don't pronounce those. Note, des gens, people, is always plural. Compare. S'il vous plaît, répétez une personne. Qui est la personne là-bas? Des gens. Qui sont les gens là-bas? So, again, who is the person over there? Who are the people over there? Singular and plural articles. The forms of the articles are summarized in the chart below. S'il vous plaît, répétez. Le, la, les garçons, les ordinateurs, les filles, les affiches. The indefinite article, s'il vous plaît, répétez un, une, des garçons, des ordinateurs, des filles, des affiches. There is liaison after les and des when the next word begins with a vowel sound. So because it ends in an S, les and des, when they're followed by a word that starts with a vowel, you're going to hear that S as a Z sound. Des corresponds to the English article some. While some is often omitted or left out in English, des must be expressed in French. Contrast, il y a des livres sur la table. There are books on the table, but in French we have to have the some in there, so there are some books on the table. Je dîne avec des amis. I'm having dinner with some friends. I'm having dinner with friends. So you have to have the articles with nouns. So nouns in French never appear without their articles. Exercice 6, pluriel s'il vous plaît, plural please. Give the plurals of the following nouns. So because this is une, remember the plural of un and une is des. And the plural of le, la, or L apostrophe is les. And you have to add S's to the nouns themselves. So numéro un copain, des copains, deux, des amis, trois, des hommes, quatre, des femmes, cinq, des euros, six, des affiches, 7, les voisins, 8, les élèves, 9, les cousines, 10, Les livres 11, les ordinateurs 12, les voitures. So your homework is 3 exercises. We did all of these out loud, so I'm just going to kind of go over right now with you what you actually need to write on your paper for this. So this first one, again, based on the sentence in your book, the prompt that they give you, you had to write a sentence using the verb avoir and one of these objects from the box. And remember, you were using the same subject in your sentence as the subject of the sentence in the book. So, tu joues au tennis, if you're playing tennis, you need a racket. So for number 1 on your paper, you would write tu as une raquette. So you're going to write out those sentences. And again, those are the sentences that we said out loud when we did this in class. Exercice 5, sur la table ou sous la table. Again, for this one, you don't need to write the le baladeur, but I do want you to write the question as well as the answer. And remember, in this one, because it was le, we started our answer with il. If we have a la, we're going to start our answer with L. So for number 1, for example, you would write où est l'ordinateur, the L apostrophe, because ordinateur starts with a vowel. And then il, because ordinateur is masculine, a. And the computer in the picture is on the desk, so it's sur la table. So you're going to write out those 2 sentences for each of the 8 of those. Exercice 6. Give the plurals of the following nouns. So here you're just writing the plurals of the noun. So number 1, you would write des. And remember, you have to add an S to copain. So that's all you're writing for the 12 of those. Au revoir. À demain.